No worries.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Hangout With, and this time we are lucky to have investor Rodrigo Medeiros with us. Hey. So we are going to talk to him tonight all about his investing, his journey, how he learned how to be an investor, why he's doing it, how long he's been doing it, all that exciting, fun stuff. So if you have any questions, put it down to the side, comment over on the side. If you don't have any questions, then at least say hi to everybody. And if you're watching this afterwards, make sure you make a comment below if you have any questions, and Rodrigo will check in with the comments later on and see if there's anything there that needs to be answered. So in the meantime, let's get the party started. Rodrigo, so first of all, when and why did you start investing?
Whew, that is a big question to start it off, but I love it.
It is. I'm sorry.
So, I think there's a point in our lives where we kind of question kind of why we're doing things. And I think the first step for me was, why do I want to go through working every day and not having kind of an ambition or a goal to look forward to? And so you can do that through a lot of ways, through looking at it like I'm going to have a lump sum payment at the end of the day because I want to retire, I want vacation, I want to just take life easy. That's what actually kind of it was for me, or at least that's how it started off for me, right? I said to myself, I want to start investing because in 30 years from now or so, I want to just be on the beach and taking it easy. It's kind of evolved since then a little bit, where that was the picture before. And now it's turned more into, actually, I don't need that level of growth. I want it to be a little bit more passive, where I can just kind of push away my daily expenses so that I can start doing things that I love a little bit more. So that's kind of like what started me to get more focused on investing, and now it's evolving a little bit as time goes on. But it's literally a tool that I use just to be able to kind of calibrate my life a little bit more with my future ambitions now.
Nice. So how is it evolving for you?
Yeah, it's so my when I started investing a couple years back, I said to myself, I see a lot of people making money, right? I'm like, this is probably what I want to do to achieve maybe financial freedom. So I kind of used that as kind of the roadmap, and I said to myself, that's what I'm going to do. Now it's actually evolving because I'm seeing that I actually can still do something daily. I don't want to actually just go from 0 to 10 million because what am I going to do every day afterwards, right? And so I think the fun part of it is doing something you love every day so that you have something to look forward to. I don't want to just be an investor so that I have nothing to do and have everything, right? Like I want it to be a mixture of the two things together. So now my mindset is evolving into how do I balance that to maybe like a medium level of growth, but more into like getting some of it now immediately so that I can support my day-to-day, because I need that so that I can focus my attention to other things that I'm more interested in now, right? Whatever it could be. It doesn't even have to be work related, but it could be like because I'm more, inclined to learning about some new athletics, right? A new sport. I want to spend a little bit more time learning about a different hobby that I didn't even know I liked. Maybe get into like some new stuff, like for example, computer sciences or something like that. So it's been kind of evolving, and it's kind of exciting because you don't think that's where you're going to end up, but it starts to just start to take off.
Absolutely. So how long ago did you start?
It's been about 8 years now. So it was the moment that I turned 18. I ran over to the bank and I just signed up for a TFSA. I'm like, sign me up this exact moment.
You're kidding.
No, I turned 18 and I sent this document over into the bank, and my parents were like, what is that, right? Because they didn't of have the financial acumen of like understanding what some of these tools were. And I'm like, just trust me, I need to do this. For viewers that are not from Canada, like this would be like a Roth IRA, for example, right? Like it would be like the same investment tool, but it's funny to think back now, right?
Absolutely. Very smart of you at 18. And Vern, great point. Yeah, do something you love and it never feels like work. It's so true, eh? It's so true. All right. Sorry. So for other people that are, say, just about to turn 18, bit of advice there. There's a great tip. There's a gem. Do what Rod's done. Whip over to the bank and set up a TFSA, tax-free savings account. What does it do? Explain it, Rod.
Yeah, so I mean, you obviously are gonna have to consult with your accountant for professional advice, just for entertainment. But
Absolutely.
your TFSA functions as like this wonderful tool, so you don't have to pay any taxes on any appreciation that you're gonna get on some investments. So it's something that you might never consider because you're like, who even cares? But once you're working towards financial education and freedom down the path, you're really going to start thinking about, how can I avoid paying or mitigating legally taxes in the long term, right? And I back then I remember reading up about it, and I was in school, and one of my teachers was like, like, I don't really understand what it is. I've been kind of reading up on it, and so me and him started talking a little bit more about it, and I'm like, that's it. Now I kind of understand what it is. 18, boom. So it's a great tool.
Yeah, it really is. It really is all that tax free. You can't do a lot of transactions in it over the course of the year, or they'll pay you as personal income tax. But otherwise, it's all tax free. And yeah, you can set up, again, consult your accountant and make sure you're doing it properly. This is for entertainment purposes only. But the way I've got it set up is for buying and selling stocks and growing a big stockpile there. No pun intended.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, totally. I mean, there's obviously a lot of like details. I won't bore everybody with that, but like you can contribute a specific amount every year, and you just have to stick to that. But that's more than enough. If you just did that and you did over 30 years, you'd have well over $2 million to retire on, just growing with the market. Not even have to worry about anything. You don't have to know anything. Just put it in there and you'll be okay.
And there you go, everybody. Words of wisdom by Rod. There you go. I can't say hi to everybody that jumps on tonight. I'm going to try and do my best by pinning everybody's comments there. But we do have Sean here. Shawnee from Italy and the Hustle Hub. So you guys go and check out their channels. If everybody else has got channels here, go through everybody that's commenting at the side. Go check out the channels. If you feel that's a good fit for you, make sure you subscribe. Let's grow the community big time. So how did you learn, Rod, to invest?
That's actually the best question to ask, because it's not something where you go to school and somebody is going to tell you through a course like, follow steps A to Z and do this because you'll save more money. Do this because you'll grow money. It's been something that I've just had a natural curiosity for. And I think the way it all sparked was I was a young kid, and I used to watch a Dragon's Den. Which is our version of like the Shark Tank back in the States. And I used to just watch these people come on there and pitch, and I used to think like, how does the dragons make money? Like what are they really doing? Are they becoming a partner, or are they becoming an investor? So that kind of raised those eyebrows and that kind of healthy ambition in my mindset to get going. So it's since then that I've just been Googling. I've been kind of on my own doing some research, and then I really kind of started huddling with groups of people that I felt that were like-minded like myself, and we would just talk about it for fun. Literally, this would be what we would do for fun. I remember maybe grabbing a beer with some friends in university, and this is what we would talk about. Like, we had fun talking about this, and it just became like a healthy obsession about, how do we better ourselves, and so that's how we kind of picked it up, really.
Nice. Yeah, so you're watching Dragon's Den. You've got Mr. Wonderful on it, Kevin O'Leary. You've got Robert Urjavec that's gone off to Shark Tank, the two of them, and they're producing that show as well. Did you ever think about getting into entrepreneurship as well, or was it strictly when you're talking with your buddies over a beer? Was it all about the investing side, or was it building a business side as well?
It's both, to be completely honest with you. So from a business side of things, it's still something to this day that I'm still thinking through, like what the opportunities could be. And I've started to kind of create some roadmaps of, if things did work out on YouTube, what that could lead to, what I could potentially do. So lots of opportunities there. I did before kind of mess around a little bit, just kind of with a little bit of entrepreneurship, trying to sell some kind of stuff around school just to kind of help out. But it's never kind of eclipsed to something bigger than that. I'm hoping that, for the long term, this kind of goes back into my investing philosophy of I'm going to put more time into maybe like a business where it's going to be something that I love to do and I have tons of fire and passion for, that I can just explode it out of the water, right?
Nice, nice. Good thinking, man. Good thinking. So how would you describe yourself as an investor? Are you more into dividends? You into day trading? You into SPACs? What do you think?
So I like to have a healthy mixture of a different types of assets.
Right.
I don't like to be too focused into one of them. So it goes from my mindset at first being let's go full in into whatever can generate the most amount of income, but now to being a little bit more passive and slowly kind of growing. So one venue is like through real estate, just getting on board into maybe taking some passive income through having some opportunities through the rental market, renting out some places. And then there's other venues of utilizing a TFSA, for example, and getting some good stock picks out there. Doesn't have to be SPACs, still some good growth stocks and that can really help leverage some growth. So it's that healthy mixture of the two. Whereas once upon a time, it was just a full balance of maximum growth. And I did not care about anything kind of a little bit more passive that I could utilize now. So dividends is still a factor, but I think of dividends more from kind of the passive income coming from real estate. I could swap out like the dollars invested into my real estate portfolio into like the same stocks in the stock market that would yield me a dividend. And I would kind of compare the two to be kind of very similar.
Yeah. So you're seriously thinking about in the future to get into more real estate investing, maybe branch off into that?
Yeah, I mean, my portfolio right now is to kind of continue to grow. So I have 2 properties. And my intentions are in the long term to be able to kind of scale that a little bit further.
Nice. Good for you.
Yeah. So, but I mean, still, I think what I need to be really focused on is not even so much about the growth of all these assets, more so about how can I utilize them at the same time to get my day-to-day requirements to survive in terms of money be met so that I can focus my attention once I know that I can pay for a roof and everything over me without having to, sustain that through some type of income other than my investments so that I can do kind of, a business or something like that where I can just be like, I'm going to work day and night for this. I don't have to worry about anything else. Doesn't matter if I don't make money. You know what I mean? That type
of. Absolutely, absolutely. So I didn't mention this earlier, but Rod and I are both from the Toronto area, hence the Toronto baseball cap. The Raptors cap here tonight. So
I should have had the Blue Jays hat.
You should have grabbed one. It's not too late. You can just
I don't have one.
Okay, so what motivates you? What gets you out of bed in the mornings, Rod?
There's a lot of things actually that motivate me. I think from a business mindset and an investment mindset, I think I'm becoming a lot more curious into kind of having my own personal kind of business. So I think now I'm starting to realize that I love finance. I've always loved finance, but I have an itch to kind of just keep talking to like-minded people about finances. Right. And I think I've learned that the more people I talk about it, the more it fuels me to help out more people. So now it's kind of becoming, how can I do that on a larger scale? How can I do that to influence more people to take a better control of their finances through, budgeting or through accountability or through investing in assets that are going to be critical for their long-term success? And I think really that's really fueling me because now it's kind of like, it's inspiring me because I feel like I can be the voice to help out some people. It's not about the money. It's not about that. It goes back to like what I was saying, my goals have evolved. Whereas once upon a time, it was to kind of be so much about let's drive those at dollars, right? And now I'm starting to realize like there's more to it than just that. Like I have some income, but there's a point where it doesn't make me any happier, right?
Yeah. That's a really good point because anytime I look at my portfolio and I'm seeing it, increasing and, periodically decreasing, it's just really, I remember, I think it was Robert Kiyosaki said in one of his Rich Dad Poor Dad books, that really, it's a game sort of, right? As opposed to, woo, I'm at this level or woo, I'm at that level. It's more just like, it's just an indicator of, are you growing and are you enjoying it? And it's just, you're seeing this. It's almost like when you're playing a video game and you see the points, like back in the day. I don't know if it's the same with you guys.
Totally. Yeah.
Back in the day, you had to score right at the very top. You know, you're playing Space Invaders and you just want to be that next score. That's the way I look at it too. I loved video games, playing in the arcades when I was a kid. I always wanted to beat that score, my previous score all the time, right? Or the high score that's on that machine. So that's the way I look at it. So are you kind of looking at it the same way as well?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I used to be addicted when I was younger to a game called RuneScape. I don't know if anybody knows it or even yourself, but
I've heard of it. I've never played it though.
You know, it's so funny. Like that game was all about leveling up and making money and just leveling up further and making more money. So maybe that kind of rooted my mindset, but it totally is. Like your investments are just kind of like gonna put you in that mindset. Am I leveling or not? But you know, one thing that I really had to shape my mindset around is like, how do I get away from actually looking at my investments as a level up or not? Because whether those investments go in the right direction or not, sometimes you don't control it. You make the best intentions for them to grow, but they sometimes take a turn for the worse because of things that are out of your control. And I think one of the things that I really had to reshape my mentality on was, how do I learn to realize that I don't have control over this and that it's not something that I should feel emotionally bummed down about? Because I've seen it with some friends where they're just getting involved in the stock market and they're putting in $1,000, and I'm like, take it easy, right? Like start slow, start building, get something that is going to be not as high risk. And first thing they go into, cannabis stock, highest risk, and you know their portfolio is just going through the roof. And I'm like, take it easy.
Slow down, crawl, walk, then run.
Yeah, exactly.
Take it easy, man. Take it easy. So what do you enjoy most about being an investor?
I think it's constantly learning. So it doesn't ever stop. I mean, you can apply that to so many things. It could be to a business, but it could be to investing just as much. If you invest into something today and you think it's never going to change, or that mindset is going to be the same for the rest of time, never that's the case. What you see today is for today. It might lead forward for a couple of days, maybe weeks, maybe even months. But things are going to change, mindsets are going to change, and you need to stay aware of that. And you got to be up to date so that you're making the right decisions as well.
Good point. I like it. Did you ever have like a mentor or somebody that helped guide you? Apart from your friends, not collectively, but was there anybody you looked up to that you could consider a mentor, say, for investing?
You know, that's a great question.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, no, seriously, it really is. Great questions. So, I mean, I do watch quite a bit of Matt McKeever here on YouTube, and I do think he's really good for real estate. I've watched a lot of his videos. I got a lot of good information from him, and he's been doing it for many years here on YouTube. So he's been really good at kind of building that mindset. Right. But in terms of growing up in university, I did have a professor that I used to get along really well with. It was actually for personal finances, ironically. So maybe I kind of was able to spark that a little bit further. But I would literally just finish the lecture. I'd go down into his room for questions and stuff like that. And I'd just be in there talking with him about like, what stocks does he like how does he get involved? How much return can I expect? And I still to this day literally remember going to ask him, like, how can you get more than 8% return in the stock market? And he's looking at me like, that's so easy to do. You can just pick any ETF, any index fund. Like, I'll just pick any, you'll do so good at it. And I'm like, how? I'm at the bank right now, and they're telling me I'm going to get like 1% interest on my savings. Like, what do I do? So he's I think he really was great. I still occasionally talk to him, nowhere near as I did before, but you know, he's definitely been great. I would definitely say.
See, there you go. I mean, having a mentor or somebody like that, or even just a group of friends, university buddies that you know you can all speak to and guide you more or less. But having a mentor really does help, no matter what you're going into, right? So, yeah, Rod, we didn't put your last name. We don't have your last name here. And Vern is asking, where is your channel? I didn't put it in scrolling underneath, and you didn't put it in your name. So, I mean, you might have to spell it out so that people can. It is in the description below. Anybody that wants to go and check out Rod's channel, it's in the description below.
Yeah, I can still change it right here.
Yeah, if you can change it, it really helps out. Vern found it already. Thank you very much, Vern. So
there you go. That should help out. Should say now Rodrigo Medeiros / personal finance.
Hang on, let me check it out and see if it's there. We go. Awesome, beautiful. And Vern just went and checked it out. There you go. Hopefully you got one new subscriber.
Oh, yeah. You're awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. So what kind of advice would you give, say, 15-year-old Rod about investing? Now that you've had this experience in the last few years, you look back, here comes little 15-year-old Rod. And what would you say to little Rodrigo?
I think I would definitely probably close out a little bit more noise that I heard. I think younger Rodrigo was, still learning a lot about the world, and you can have a lot of influences because you think that sometimes people want to push you into the right direction. Yeah. And they have the best intentions too. But I think it also comes with the different mindsets that different people have and were raised with, right? So if you go back and you ask like a typical, family relative who grew up working, a skilled trade job, which was the case for me, they don't have as much exposure to investments and things like that. And they don't trust these financial tools that the government puts out for us. So definitely getting ahead of the curve and learning for myself would be great. But also I think it's funny because back in the day, I loved playing around with computers and I started mining Bitcoins. And
really?
One of the few that mined Bitcoins early on. And
you actually mined it?
Yeah, I did. I was one of the early ones who could still mine it back in the day. Yeah.
No, are you still mining currently?
No, I stopped that a long time ago.
So
it was because now.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to ask you. I'd love to hear like the process of you initially setting that up, and how did you go? First of all, how did you learn about it? How did you learn about it? And then from there, like, how did you set that up? Because I was fortunate. A buddy of mine in Atlanta saying, we got to buy some Bitcoin. I bought mine in April of 2013. So, wow. But I never got into the mining of it. So wow. How did you get
Good for you. You got in.
I got in really, really early. It cost nothing.
You got in at the perfect time because right now it's going for like 50K for Bitcoin.
Yep. 48,000 today, I think it was.
I was literally in the library in university and I was studying accounting. So I'm literally reading books and I literally was taking a mini break and I get this ad on the right side of it. And it was like, Bitcoin mining. And I'm like, what? I'm getting ads for mining. Like, what is this? And I'm seeing like a bunch of coins like everywhere. And I'm like, this is the weirdest ad I've ever seen. So I completely ignore it and I keep scrolling through. I scroll back up because I was actually on a YouTube video and it was popping up on the right corner. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Let me just click on it. And it took me to this page about people mining, but it was the Dogecoin, like mining things. And I'm like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, what is this? So my curiosity led me to mining, and is all these people like nerding out about like, oh, sophisticated computer softwares, you do mathematical algorithms to solve things and you get rewarded for it through money. And at the time I'm like, I need the money, like let me try this out. I have a computer and I can definitely like use it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I went home, 5 viruses later, I got it running. I started clicking away. I have like a couple hours, and it turned out to be quite substantive. Looking at it now, obviously I missed out.
You're jumping, Rod. I think we're losing you a little bit here, buddy.
That's okay.
You're all choppy and whatnot, and your picture is frozen as well.
How's that?
So, I think you're back.
Okay,
yeah, no,
great.
we're okay. We're good.
Sorry, what was the last part you heard?
Not quite sure about it. You started setting it up basically.
Okay, so yeah, I pretty much after catching a couple of viruses, essentially, I finally was able to get it up and running, and it actually was great. I saw a little bit of return, and I'm like, okay, this is cool, but I can't do anything with this. I'm like, this is obviously not a way of making income, at least at the time. So, I went about my life in a different way, and then I realized the prices went up a little bit. So I'm like, okay, let me cash in. I'll take a little bit of it. Looking back at this day, it's like, wow, I could have made a lot more. Could have probably already been retired.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. So what was the reason what was the reason why you stopped? From what I understand, you basically just set up a very high tech, high RAM computer and you just let it go and that's it. Mine's for you. Is it not that easy, or is there a lot of work to it to keep it maintained and running?
Yeah, I mean,
Uh-oh. Lost you again.
way where you can you see me now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So it started off with just being kind of, like the CPU could handle it. And then it started to become more difficult and you had to do more. You need to get more computing power to be able to, get the reward. So it ended up transforming into having GPUs, and I had a bunch of computers running, and I was living in my parents' home. And my dad gets this bill that was like $500 for hydro. So obviously he's freaking out at that point. He's like, what the hell is this? $500. And, it kind of like one thing to the other. And long story short, I had to kind of get rid of that, or I'd have to go find my place to live.
Yeah.
So that kind of ended abruptly, to say. But, it was good while it lasted. No complaints about that.
Well, I was going to ask you, what's one of your most interesting investments that you've ever done? I would assume that's probably it. So did you actually get any coins from it?
Yeah, I had many coins from it. That's why to this day, I regret selling them so early ahead of time.
Oh, geez. Sorry, we must have missed that part.
Yeah.
That one. Wow, that's too bad. Well,
I wish I had them today. I'm telling you, I would be retired. I would be retired.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure. Absolutely. Jeez. Tell us something that you're proud of as being an investor, or even something personal, if you wish. Something that you're proud of.
So I definitely think that, being able to at least have some type of financial freedom, to, say that I have my own place here in Toronto, I think is a good achievement. So that there's a lot of people that I know who are kind of struggling to get into it. And, I'm grateful to be in that opportunity. It might not sound like the biggest thing for some people who've had the opportunity to get into the real estate market, but for a lot of people in my age group, it's a lot more common to be, in a stickier situation where to get in costs an arm and a leg. For me to be here,
it's tough in Toronto. Real estate is tough to get into in Toronto. It's not cheap. Holy mackerel! So kudos to you. Great job.
Yeah,
awesome. Amazing work.
I remember when I got into it a couple years back, and I'm thinking like, holy smokes! And since then, it's just continued to balloon up. Right? It's just absolutely crazy here. Like a little tiny place just in downtown Toronto, like a little shack. It's going to go for $1.8 million minimum.
It's crazy. Yeah. Crazy.
Bidding wars, no inventory.
Yeah, no kidding. Vern, thank you so much for the super sticker. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thanks for joining us tonight. That's really, really nice of you. What do you think is your biggest challenge of being an investor? The constant educating of yourself, or constant research, constant what? Well, what do you think is your biggest challenge?
I think it's about how you're going to scale from a long term, right? Like there's a lot of methods of doing it. It could be through leverage, or it could be through like maybe being over allocated into one specific asset class.
Right.
Regardless of that, you're going to have to fundamentally think, how do I want to structure myself in case there is a downturn? Like one of the scariest things is like, just take yourself back to 2008, right? Like if you're too invested into one asset class, and for some reason something explodes, you are going to feel the pain of it. And I think one of the things is like, how do you continue to restructure yourself so that you're never too exposed in one specific area, so that God forbid something does happen, right? Like you're going to be able to survive through, especially, in my case, where I'm pretty much saying I'm expecting my investments to be able to be my fruit to keep me alive. And I'm not going to be relying on like, a side hustle or business income or, employment or something of that nature. So it's going to be more crucial to think of it from that perspective, just making sure you're diversified.
Awesome. Excellent. What investors do you follow?
So I have to follow the most famous one here from Canada, Kevin O'Leary. He's a great guy. I actually ran into him once at the airport.
Yeah.
It was kind of like this is my guy. So yeah, he's a really nice guy. Yeah, definitely look up. He's got a very different mindset in terms of investments, because he's in a position where he's got a lot of capital, so he doesn't like to take on leverage and he doesn't like to take on loans. But it's interesting to see his mindset of investing, where it's more about just like, hey, don't worry about your money, just put into something that's going to pay you monthly. You'll take that, you'll live off of that, and you're good enough with that.
Yeah, and one of his points all the time in all the shows is, how fast can I get my money back? I put the money out there, but it's true, and I think about that every so often too, right? It's like, get the money out there working for you every day, and how fast can I come back to home base? That's what I think about all the time.
Yeah, so, seriously.
And he thinks the same way, and I love it. He's a character. He's something, eh? So, so what's the best piece of of investing advice have you ever gotten?
That I've ever gotten?
Yeah.
Sorry, you cut out there.
Sorry.
I think
advice.
This one is actually came from my professor back in the day, and it always stuck with me. He said to me, "You have absolutely nothing to lose. Go crazy right now. Go all in into Bitcoin. Go all in into the highest risk stock." And he was right. If I would go back in time right now, I would buy myself a lot more Bitcoin. I would definitely jump into the market, and I could have probably bought myself whatever was happening back then, Amazon shares, you name it. I would have done great. And at the time, I'm like, no, that can't be right. I think he's just playing with me. He was dead serious. Best advice he's given me. It came with a sarcastic tone, but if I look back, he was bang on. I didn't even listen.
Because you're younger, or because you're in the early stages of being an investor?
I was in the early stages of being an investor, and he recognized that, I didn't have things to pay. I was still living at my parents' home. So if I lost all my money, whatever, you're not going to like die. You're still going to have a roof over your head, and you have some place like that. Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Victor is here from VE Universe. Victor is also from Toronto. I think the three of us should meet up at a Raptors game one day once the pandemic is finished. Totally. He's a big investor as well. So thanks for joining us, Victor. Everybody check out Victor's channel. He's a great guy. Great guy. So, all right. So that was your best piece of advice, is just to go hard when you're young like that and get out there and take on some fun investments. Go, go, go with the drive. But what was one of your worst bits of advice you've ever gotten?
The worst that I ever got was don't invest because we're speculating too much that things are going to go down. They're always like, no, just wait it off a little bit. No, later. Wait it off a little bit later. And you can't time the market. You just can't. You if you're timing the market, it just doesn't work. There's a lot of research out there. It's all about how much time you're in the market, because some days like your entire return for the entire year comes from one single day. How are you going to time that? Right. And so I was told before, no, just keep waiting, save up more money. And no, it just doesn't work that way. Like, you just want to get out there, invest, just feel comfortable with your investment, but don't try to time it. Don't nickel and dime it.
Yeah. Do you ever plan upon retiring?
I hope so. I mean, I have some timelines in mind. I'm hoping by 30.
Really? That's a great age to be retired at. So what are you at now? 25?
I'm 26 as of right now.
26 as of right now. So in 4 years, you feel that you're going to be retired. That is an amazing goal, Rod. Go for it. Do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to come with some caveats. It's not going to be like living my most luxurious life, but at least at that point, I should be well off that I can take care of my personal relationships and live very happily with my family, and then at the same time manage all of my time to be doing whatever I think is exciting for me, whether that's going to be personal finance here on YouTube, having my own side businesses, or just creating something completely out from scratch and kind of running with that.
So I'm going to assume that you're currently working. So basically it's not that you I guess your idea of being retired is not that you're working anymore and you're doing basically what you want to do pretty much every day. Like you just said, YouTube or full-time investing, whatever the case may be. Is that correct?
Yeah, you got it bang on. Exactly.
Like, welcome to the everyday. I call this welcome to the everyday is Saturday club.
I can't wait for the day.
Sorry?
That I just don't know what day it is anymore. Like I can't wait for that. Just is it a Friday or is it a Sunday or a Monday morning? Like I don't care. I just want to be excited every single day, you know. So
it is the best feeling. You have no clue when you wake up. You just say you wake up, you're like, what day is it? But every day feels like Saturday. And it is the best feeling. I highly recommend anybody watching this to do whatever you need to do, invest, start a business, you know, start with a side hustle, whatever you need to do to get free, like create freedom. When I was 17, I started my first business. It was all about, I thought like 2 weeks a year wasn't enough for me to have. So I thought, well, I'm going to start my own business. At least I can have like 2 months a year. Well, I didn't take a vacation for like 5 or 6 years. Yeah. But anyways, but it's amazing when you've got that freedom, and good for you. If you can do it when you're 30, Rod, you got like the majority of your life ahead of you to do whatever you want to do. So, hey, if I can help you out on that journey, just keep in contact with me. Okay. By all means, like for doing the real estate businesses, whatever, even investing, I will definitely help you out and work with you to help you get to achieve that goal at 30 for sure. Absolutely.
I really appreciate that. You do a lot of amazing things on your channel. Like it's just amazing to see, right? Like there's not enough, I think, people out there doing what you're doing, helping people, putting that smile in everyone's face, right? It's amazing.
Thanks. But it's a fun feeling when you help somebody and they actually get to that point in their lives. It's just like, it's incredible. As I talked to a friend of mine the other day, and he just started now working, he finished working. So he's just like, he's busier now than he's ever been. It's like, welcome to the Everyday is Saturday Club, man, because that's the way it is.
You don't ever feel bad because you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
You're out there. Yeah.
Like, I can never imagine, and I got so much respect for people that can go to an office or work and do 9 to 5. I can't do it. But, it's just like that takes away, that stifles the way I see it, your creativity. Because if I was there for like 8 hours a day or something like that, I wouldn't be able to think and I wouldn't be able to be putting all this together. But you do have a few hours at night, invest, learn to invest, right? Learn to do a side hustle, learn to do whatever you need to do to get yourself free, if that's what you want to do. But then again, I know people that love their job and they don't even want to retire. You know, he just like, I got so many friends that are like that as well. So it's just the way we're wired. But if you're wired that you want to get out there and whatnot, like get in contact with Rod, subscribe to his channel. Hang on, hold on. There it is, right there.
Beautiful.
There's his name, full name. Go and check out his channel. Subscribe to his channel, everybody. And, reach out to him. He can help you. I can help you, whatever. I mean, work as a team and just get to that point where you're free. And every day Saturday is such a fun feeling. So,
it's definitely hard to manage when your kind of time is secured for a different place. And it's not that it's it's really good still. And you can love doing it. But it's about how do you continue to balance it. And, like I can't do it after work. Like I'm just burnt out. Because I'm that exhausted. So
that's the challenge, right?
And that's totally. And I've learned that actually it wouldn't work for me. So I've been reading this really cool book that's about building habits. And one of them actually is about like setting up your environment to be more functional for you. And I've realized that after I've worked like 10 hours a day, I can't sit in that place anymore to be productive. I have to switch the environment. So I try to now work on my hobbies and stuff before my work. I have to wake up early, but I feel fresh and like ready to give 110,000%. So I do it before my work and then I work. So by the time I'm done my work, I'm like, I can get out of that room and I can go do whatever else. And I can have that time for myself to rebalance myself mentally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Exactly. I totally agree as well. Like, you never feel bad about what you're doing. Like, everybody is wired differently, right? If you're happy doing what you're doing, do it. That's fantastic. But if you're in a situation where you want to get out of it sort of thing, again, just take those steps, crawl, walk, and run, right? Start a side hustle, start learning how to invest, create a business, whatever. So it's exciting. There's a lot out there, man. Like, especially during this pandemic too. I mean, we all have extra time, right? So focus on something new, something you want to do for such a long time, and get it done by all means. So let's talk about your YouTube channel for a while. How long have you had it? When did you first start it?
I think I uploaded my first video in September. No, sorry. I think it's the last week of August, I believe. And I kind of uploaded for the first time. And then I told myself I would do it once a week just to kind of learn how to do it and kind of catch up with it.
Yeah.
And I've slowly fallen a little bit more in love with it, realizing that I like the creative process actually a lot more than I thought.
Good for you.
I took a pause from November until the start of January. I had a wisdom teeth removal, so I was kind of knocked out for a while. So I told myself, let's get it going on the new year and just bang it out as hard as we can.
So you're consistently doing one video a week now?
Yes, one video a week for sure, but my goal is to get it a lot more than that because I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of growth just once a week.
Wow, good for you. So what do you enjoy the most about YouTube? Is it creating the videos? Is it like, building a community? Is it, connecting with other investors? What is it?
It's actually everything. Like I love thinking about how I'm going to like make somebody's life better and putting that on a video. And then I actually love actually putting it and editing it and getting it all together. So I had no idea how to use Adobe Premiere. But I figured out how to use it, and now like I just crunch through a video and edit it in like 15 minutes. When my first video took me like 6 hours to edit, and now I'm doing it in 20 minutes. So that learning curve has like been phenomenal.
What?
Yeah, it's
20 minutes to do how long of a video?
Like the one I just posted today was about I think 8 minutes long. That took me about like 20 minutes to do.
See, your videos are really good. You're a good speaker, so you're good. You're great to listen to, and you're fun to listen to, right? And that's therefore, I guess you got minimal editing because you're gravitating enough that a person will sit and watch and listen to you and just like, all right, give me more information. This is good. I like it. So yeah, I understand. Blah 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 blah. Me, on the other hand, forget it. I'm the world's worst speaker. I'm the worst.
You're great, actually. You keep me hooked. It's so much positivity. That's what it is. Like, I want the energy.
I love doing this because at the end of the day, I don't like really speaking much about myself. Honestly, I don't, but I love hearing other people's stories. I love doing this. And I creator talk with Ryan on every second Thursday. I love doing that as well with him. But I love these hangout with series because I love hanging out with like people like you and listening to what your story is. Your channel though is like, it's full of gems. You're a great speaker. You got some great topics. You got therefore amazing content. So once again, everybody go and check out Rod's channel. But so therefore you got minimal editing, I would assume, needed. So kudos to you, man. You can do it in 20 minutes. It's like 3 days for me. It's
a learning curve. There's still a lot more I think to improve on. Like right now, I've finally realized like I have to make a list of everything I'm going to talk about, and I just hide it here under the table so that when I'm talking to you, I just reference to it really quickly. Helps on the editing afterwards. But yeah, I mean, I think I got to improve a lot more. I think there's a long road ahead, but I'm excited for it because I realize that this is the part of it that's exciting to continue adapting and evolving.
Absolutely. So tell us something that you dislike about your YouTube channel.
I'm pretty, like, if I have to be honest, it's kind of being new is kind of difficult because it's kind of like you have to put yourself out there in every single place. And it's kind of like it takes me a lot of time to be able to socialize throughout all of YouTube and to be able to go through other people's channels as well and kind of, see what they're up to. So that part of it is fun, but at the same time, it takes away a lot of time because it's like, if I have a limited time of 2 hours, I need to film, I need to edit, I need to upload, I need to figure out this algorithm and put the right tags and put all these like right SEO things for Google to help me out. And then that's not it. Like I have to spend maybe like an hour researching for new people. Like if I already knew who they were, that's easy. I just jump in. Hey, how's it going? Like I watched the video. I love this. Like I know exactly who you are. But it's like the researching part of it. That part is like a little bit kind of, I feel like, tedious.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So anybody watching right now, Victor, Vern's Junk Closet, how long does it take you guys to create a video from start to finish? Let us know. Kayla, I understand that you don't have a video YouTube channel, unfortunately, but hey, thanks a lot for being a supporter here. Awesome. That's cool. That's pretty cool of you. But it's always interesting to hear how long does it take people to do their videos. And you can pull it off like, 20 minutes or a couple of hours from start to finish. That's amazing. So where do you get your inspiration for your content then? Like your next topic for your next video? Do you have a list written down or you just like all of a sudden it comes to you, you have to whip home fast and start videotaping it? How does it work for you?
Ah, man, I battled with myself pretty hard on that one because there's, I think, creative topics that I can talk about that
Yeah.
I know there's no point of me talking about it because it's not going to get the exposure that it needs.
Yeah.
Because there's barriers of entry, right? Either I'm still not good enough at figuring out the algorithm, or not even the algorithm, but getting it good enough for the audience to be so attached to it. So right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm looking for videos in specific areas where there's not enough content, that there's no competition in, that I can post into. I can start building up an audience, or then I can start competing a little bit more with places that have more content. So being very selective in that manner, but it's in a strategic way because I also have limited time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And time is our greatest asset, as we all know. Vern's offering, hey, I'll give you some names for you to get in contact with. So if you get in contact with you soon enough, that's really nice to hear and whatnot. So
That's
where
awesome.
do you plan to take your, thanks a lot, Vern. Really appreciate that. Where do you plan to take your YouTube channel? Like, where do you see it, say, 5 years from now? What do you think?
You know, YouTube is a very awesome platform. I mean, I have my short-term goals planned out. So my inspiration is to at least be by kind of, let's say, 6 months from now. I kind of put a target for July 1st to be somewhere around 500 subscribers, something realistic. If things really do go well, best case scenario, I was hoping by end of this year to at least have 1K. And then hopefully I'll be able to kind of really start to kind of develop growth next year. But I think I've positioned my mindset to think as this year as like the fundamental, let's learn it and let's improve on it so we can build a skill set. And then next year is going to be the growth year. But in 5 years, if I could be somewhere like over 100K, this is probably too conservative. If it really does take off with like the other channels that I do see, that would be great. Anything above 100K, I would never complain a day in my life.
No kidding. So could you actually see yourself probably in the future being a full-time YouTuber after you retire at 30?
Totally, because you know, like it's all about envisioning what you are and making it happen. If I visualize it in my head and I believe it, I can make it happen. It's just going to take some work, some strategy, and some critical thinking.
So you figure that you're that type of person, like once you're zoned in, you're focused, you're laser focused on a project, you're going to achieve it no matter what. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, as long as the fundamentals are there, right? So for me, as long as I can feel like I'm hitting off that checklist of what makes me wake up in the morning and excited, and which is one, inspire people through finances because I love it. Like my goal is very defined through a lot of like layers, so it supports it. I know that it'll grow and it'll make me kind of be very laser focused because of those reasons.
Good for you, man. Good for you. You got a very big future. Big bright future ahead of you, don't you? Jeez.
All I'm looking forward to is getting maybe YouTube a little bit further ahead as of right now, and some extra smiles that you're always giving out.
So let's see. Vern's got some words of wisdom and some motivation for you. You'll get there faster than that because your content is awesome. She is at 4,300. Vern's at 4,318 months. Good for you, man. Holy jeez. That's amazing.
Super.
Yeah. So, you know, I'd love to hear, like, again, it's like, I should have a whole bunch of, you know, YouTubers on here just saying, so what are your secrets? Like, how do you do it? Da, 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 da. I mean, there's so much to learn and whatnot. So, but anybody can reach out to Rod and whatnot and give us some tips along the way and whatnot. I know, obviously, you got to get involved in the community. It's got to be a two-way street, right? You got to be in there. You got to be watching the full content of the videos and whatnot, and you know, commenting and you know, strike up some conversations even at times in their comments below. So, while we're on that, if everybody could smash the like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks. Always forget to say that.
At least twice. You always got to hit it
twice. No, don't do that because then you'll be back off again, right? It has to be an odd number, I guess.
3 times.
So Vern's saying very, very, very detailed in their videos. So that's amazing. So yeah, you know, I've always found that to be a challenge, is doing the videos and whatnot, but you're doing an amazing job, and obviously you got a bright future with it and whatnot. Being retired at 30, you got a lot of free time to work on your videos. That's incredible.
Yeah, so hopefully. My other skill now that I've been trying to build is the Photoshop, which I've kind of scratched my head pretty hard for, I'd say, the past 3 weeks, and I'm finally starting to get the hang of it. Finally, my thumbnail that I just posted today has been like kind of something that I was able to pull off quicker. Like my first edits took about like 4 to 5 hours again, but now it's down to like about an hour. So it's getting there slowly. Hopefully it'll be at the same level as Adobe Premiere.
Wow. How about Instagram? You're on Instagram?
So funny enough, I'm not on Instagram, but I have been considering doing something on TikTok because I've been seeing that the algorithm growth on TikTok is a lot more favorable. So I started posting a couple of like really short snippets on TikTok.
Right.
I think I've posted about 5 things so far, but I'm just starting to kind of get that going.
Yeah. If you can get Instagram, I find that a lot of YouTubers, and correct me, everybody that's watching right now, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of YouTubers are also on Instagram. And I think that's the way we communicate at times, right? So you can just put the posting in your banner, bottom right corner of your banner, click it, connect. And then that way, that's how we message back and forth all the time, right? So if anybody knows of any other platform that's useful for us YouTubers, post on the side right here. That'd be great. You guys have got a great conversation going here as well. Thanks a lot thanks for all the input. Hey, what's one mistake that you've made in the past, either as an investor or as a YouTuber, that you wish you could go back and fix, or you wish you didn't do?
So I've already spoken about the one on Bitcoin, but if I ignore that one, I would definitely say it was about not getting started sooner. And like, it might sound like I already started sooner, but you can start even investing before 18, as crazy as this sounds, because you can actually get your parents to sign off some documents that will let you trade some equities. So it's definitely something that I wish I started even sooner, because at that age, people give you so much money, like gifts or whatever. And it's like, instead of me having a savings account and checking account that I had like back in the day, I could have already started to kind of grow the wealth even sooner, because it compounds, right? I could have already been ahead of the curve by another like 2-3 years. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point. Start early. So my wife and I we have twin boys, and they're 10 years old, and we've been setting them up. So it's all in trust with us. And they finished. We just actually bought a few more stocks today for them. So I think we're up to about 24 companies.
Wow,
that they each have in their portfolio. So it's a great start for them, and just like get them ramped up, and we'll teach them along the way and whatnot how to, correctly invest and what they're investing in and whatnot. And we talk about it as well. We're at their table. You know what you invested in today? So yeah, good advice. Always start as soon as you can as an investor, and probably as a YouTube creator as well.
Seriously. Now you hit it bang on.
Why not? Like, why not? So, what do you think is one of your greatest accomplishments, and probably one of your greatest failures? And forget the failure one, because you probably just said that one, unless you got another one in regards to the failure. But one of your greatest accomplishments. What do you think?
I would definitely say just about kind of always, I wouldn't label it as like a specific thing. I think there's been a variety of things that have kind of led to good growth. Right. But I would definitely say that the first property that I did get, it was a lot of it to be renovated, and I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. Somehow I managed to learn a bunch of skilled trades, manage a bunch of people, and get the property renovated. So I would definitely say I'm pretty proud of that, because I was losing my hair and I was getting a lot of white hairs, managing my day-to-day plus this, because I was here before work, I was here after work, and I did all the labor myself too. So I think it was more of a kind of like, I'm proud of my mindset for not stopping. I kind of tried as much as I could to learn all the different skilled trades. Obviously I didn't do them, but I was there working alongside as an assistant just to save some money. So
nice. Okay, so let's see. We're also saying I am using Stash. Been there with them for about 6 years. So there's a bit of advice for all of us. So what advice would you give anybody right now? Like, what kind of habits do you feel that, you're 26 now, your focus is to retire when you're 30. Holy mackerel, that's amazing. So what do you contribute your successfulness of that mindset? What habits in your mindset do you figure that contribute, like other people can learn from you, of like being laser focused or whatever that have got you on this trajectory of being able to be retired by the time you're 30? What do you think? What advice can you help out with that?
So I think investing is a massive component of it, but I think for you to get the funds to invest is also another key component. Whatever you have to do to get the money, take full advantage of it. In my case, I have a log for kind of how much my money is being spent in every single category. So I keep a tally on Google Excel sheets. So anytime I have a new subscription, anytime I go out grocery shopping, anytime I do anything that spends money, it recalibrates my total. So I have a very specific budget that I'm expecting to hit every single month. If for whatever reason I have a over contribution of spending in a specific category, sometimes life throws you random curveballs. I'll readjust and reconfigure so that I can keep hitting my targets so I don't fall off the bandwagon. And I check these weekly to just make sure I'm in line. So I hit my monthly targets, and then I'll do kind of like a 6-month target overview to make sure I'm okay. And I make it a lot stricter in the first 6 months so that afterwards I have the next 6 months at the end of the year to kind of have a little bit more freedom and kick it back and kind of feel like I've already put a lot of the pedal down at the beginning of the year. But it's just building that habit of understanding where you are financially, being accountable to it, double checking it. That builds, I think, the fundamentals for understanding your finances.
Sounds great. All right. So I told Rod it was going to be about an hour. We're at 56 minutes right now. So a couple more quick questions, and then we'll start doing our closing comments. If anybody's got any questions for Rod about his YouTube channel or about him being an investor, put it over to the side. We can ask him right now before we leave in a few minutes. It'd be great to hear from you. And thanks a lot for everybody that did show up tonight. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you very much, Kayla and Victor and Vern's Junk Closet. Everybody go check out everybody else's channels here. Thank you so much for contributing and whatnot. So what do you think are some of your strengths that you need to have, and your strengths you need to have to be a successful investor?
Definitely have an open mind. You need to be just able to understand that things are going to flip upside down when you least expect it, and then just understand that you need to be open-minded with some flexibility, because if you're too narrow, I think you're exposing yourself, to too much exposure in any asset class or anything like that. And I think the best example of that is if you go back to 2008, you've seen what could happen, when the housing market, for example, takes a tumble. And if you're too invested into that, then that's going to come down with it too. That's pretty much what I would say.
Good for you, man. Good for you. We're saying, please contact. There you go.
Will do.
Absolutely.
Contact.
Absolutely. All right. So any closing remarks you'd like to give out to anybody that wants to either be a up-and-coming investor or up-and-coming YouTuber? What would you like to pass on, Rod?
You definitely need to come check out The Helpful Entrepreneur. He is the best guy to be on YouTube with. Absolutely, with the biggest smile. So that's literally the best thing you can do.
Like I said, we'll try and meet up at a Raptors game, hopefully with Victor as well. So
I can't wait for that.
We'll put that together later on. We can talk investing all night. Forget the Raptors game. We'll just talk about investing and everything else.
I'll bring the finances.
Sounds like a plan. Awesome. All right, guys. So hang on. Hang on. Kale's got a late-minute question coming in here. Kale's would you recommend investing in Bitcoin right now, even at the high price point? What do you think? Ooh,
you have to look.
Great question.
Look, it goes back to the fundamentals that I was talking about. If you're looking at this from a speculative play, you'll never know when it's too high or when it's too low. You just got to get in the market. Time in the market is better than you trying to time it, right? Because you'll never be able to pick the right time. And I'll reference Cathie Wood because I love her philosophy in investing. Unless you're familiar with her. She's fund manager for ARK ETFs, and she has a forecast right now saying that within the next 4 to 5 years, a Bitcoin could be anywhere from $400,000 to $500,000. So even at $50K right now, if you're paying premium to get in, it's not premium because you're only thinking of it from this year's perspective. If you think of it from a 5, 10, 15, 20 years perspective, oh man, 50K is going to look so cheap. You wish you had bought more.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. Great way. putting that into perspective, Rod, that was well said, really well said. If everybody can think of it that way too. So many people nowadays is like they're timing the market. They just want to get in and out fast and make $1 million within a week or two. And it's just, no, you got to wait. Take your time, right? Everything comes to those that wait. Be patient. That's for sure.
Over the patience. Yeah.
That's right. It's all about the patience. So, and she says, thank you very much for the advice. So, all right. So my bit of advice for closing remarks is, everybody, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. Rod, thanks a lot for being a great guest. Definitely we'll get you back on the next few months for some updates. That'd be a lot of fun perhaps as well.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And everybody that's watching this right now, join me. I've got an entrepreneur coming in next Tuesday at 8 o'clock for Hangout with a new guest. So I'm going to try and do this on a regular basis. 8 o'clock every Tuesday would be fantastic. So, and like I said, we'll try and get Rod back in the next few months for some nice updates with him as well. So, oh, we got Alex from Blood Fans. Maybe you want to talk about investing. Oh, Alex, jeez. So, and he says you got a nice channel. Awesome. That was cool. Thanks a lot. That was great. Thanks a lot, Kale. It's a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. Hopefully you guys can all hang out with us again next Tuesday. All right, everybody, have a great night. And we'll see you from Toronto. From Toronto, that's right. Later, guys.